Hello friends, today we are looking at what may be the most odd yet somehow most awesome thing to come out of Monster High ever. So this is the Mattel Creations Monster High Skullector Xenomorph or Alien. I guess we'll call her the Big Lass. If you know Alien, you know that the alien is actually referred to as the Big Chat. But yeah, so here is the box. You got a nice image of her right there in a nice shiny spot varnish. Hello, you can kind of see me in there. So that's pretty cool. Down the side of the box, you get some more neat images of her looking grotesque. We get the Alien logo down the other side. Then on the back, we get that classic Alien movie poster. And this is all embossed and spot varnished, which makes it look really, really cool. In space, no one can hear you scream. Now, of course, my box got all kinds of banged up in shipping, which is kind of a bummer. But anyway, this is just a slide apart box. You just slide this apart and you can see the alien within. And yeah, that's actually really, this is dumb in all the best ways, and I love it. I love it. Now on the back of the box, that opens up now a communication between Ripley and Mother, which you want to pause that and read that, you can. If you've seen the original movie, you kind of know what most of this already says. Yeah, so now this is an odd one. Obviously, this is, in my opinion, Monster High jumping the proverbial shark, but I'm actually kind of here for it. So the Skullector dolls have been kind of hit or miss. You know, some are like insanely like cool, and some are like, eh? But usually what ends up being the case is the ones that are insanely cool are like instant sellouts. Like you're only allowed to buy one or two, and yet they sell out in like 10 seconds and millions of them show up on eBay somehow. This time they did the Collectors Club version sell, which sold out pretty quickly. Then they did the regular retail sell, which sold out pretty quickly. Then they had a second wave of the regular retail sell, which sold out pretty quickly. And then they put them available for pre-order. Now, I know of a lot of people online who are fans of the Monster High doll collectibles, who would be very, very interested to know as to why they have never done that with any of their other collector dolls, like, you know, the Frankenstein pack or the female Dracula or the Gremlin. You know, there's so many of these that were immediate sellouts that nobody could get, but somehow were all over eBay. But I was lucky enough to get this one in the collector window, so Collectors Club window. So there you go. There you go. Now, this does normally have a plastic cover right here. I actually went ahead and slid that out. It does just slide in and out. I did that because this thing becomes like a mirror under my meager lighting and in my camera. Oh, but yeah, you get a good look down here at the details before we cut her out of the box and get a closer look at her. And with her out of the packaging, we'll take a quick look here at that artwork on the inside. Nice painted artwork, sort of replicating the inside of the Sulaco, which looks really, really cool. You can see there's this little triangle piece that's poking out from the front there, and that's where your stand is at, but it's taped up in the back, so you'll need to take this whole piece out to get to that stand. Also on the back of that insert is your certificate of authenticity. And that doll stand is actually a new design. At least it's new to me. There's a lot of these collector dolls that I missed. But you now have a new extendable, adjustable crotch cradle with a little clip piece to go underneath said crotch cradle to clip on to the legs, if I can get that to clip on there, just like that. And then of course you get your typical Monster High Skullector base here. But yeah, this is an entirely new design. At least it is to me. So yeah, that's kind of cool. All right, and here we have the big lass herself, the Xenomorph doll from Monster High. And I already know that there's probably like websites dedicated to a pretty girl version of the Xenomorph. So this has got to be hitting somebody's fetishes. Now you might notice I got something here. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, first off, this girl is rightfully tall. And by rightfully tall, I mean she's very tall. So here she is with a G1 Frankie. You may not be able to see on my camera, but she's going quite blonde now. And then here she is with a Greta. So you can see she does pretty much tower over them. For a G2 comparison, here she is with the G2 Venus, who is still, I mean, Venus is one of the taller Monster High dolls they've made, and she's still properly small compared to the big lass here, which I think is pretty, well, accurate if you know anything about the Xenomorph. But yeah, so let's get a closer look here in the details if we can, because, you know, she's all black. She is all black. So yeah, so we've got the nice sculpted rib cage that goes over the body, and this is a separate overlay. It is removable. It pops on here to the back. Looks like it would be a nightmare to remove. And then of course she's got these nice sleeves that has that nice biomechanical artwork in sort of metallic black going all down on all of it. Actually, she's got that artwork on all of it, and I really dig that. You got the little alien embryo right there, which is cool. She's got the proper sculpted detail going all up and down her body. Like all of that biomechanical look is all there. They gave her her proper hands. Look at that. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Now she does have, obviously she's got an outfit. So there's a onesie that goes underneath this ribcage piece. It's very thin, very tight fabric. And then of course she's got this loose fitting 3-piece dress bit here. That is a separate piece from the rest of it. I imagine it'd be some work to take that off if you wanted to take that off, because you do have to take this piece off first to get to it. I'm not going to do that here because I just don't feel like it. As you can see, her boots are the face huggers. Look at that. She's even got the little pieces coming up off of her ankles, which I think is really, really cool. Now for that head, we talked about that little string hanging off. So that came like that in the package, but there's actually multiples of these little black strings that are tying on the dome to her hair. She has hair under here, and it's got so much hair gel in it that it's practically a solid piece, to the point that they really didn't need to make that hair at all, but they did anyway. Much like every other doll that they make, there were the little plastic pins pinning her head to the packaging, which I hate that. And that's kind of a chore to get out of here. And she does have a fully sculpted and painted face underneath that dome, which looks really cool. I love the way they did her eyes. Honestly, I just love the way they did the whole face. Now, I will probably cut this strand hanging off here, but I'm probably never going to take any of these other strings off unless they start to discolor or something, because, you know, why would I want to, you know, this is a removable piece, but I have no intention of ever removing it, because that kind of is part of the look of the Xenomorph. Now, if you've ever collected Monster High dolls, you should probably already know how the articulation on this works. She does have a ball jointed head, full range of motion right there, as well as a universal joint. But I would, of course, always be careful when you're moving things that have fabric attached to them. I mean, it's not attached to it, but, you know, it can catch. We have universal joints at the elbows, so we get a full movement there at the elbow, as well as a rotation. We do have the universal joints at the wrists. These do just peg in and are removable. Then we have that universal joint there at the hip. They only go out about that far. And we do have the universal joints here at the knees with the rotation in there at the knees as well. Nothing at the feet, and apparently nothing at the torso on this one. A lot of the modern Monster High dolls have a joint here, but this one does not have that. Or if it does, it's glued into place, but it doesn't feel like it does. And lastly, the tail. So the tail itself is not articulated. It is fastened into place, but it is a bendy tail. You can see here, not the best bendy, but it's got enough to it where you can probably get it into whatever pose you may want to get your Xenomorph lady into. It does feel like it stops bending right about here, which would make sense since that's where it's plugged into. But as you can see, you can get some pretty cool whipping around tail poses like so. Again, you can see it's hard because it's all black, but you can see again that really cool biomechanical texture going all the way up her body, into her neck, into her head. I mean, she is properly ugly in all the ways a Xenomorph should be, and just imposing and just kicking the camera and falling over backwards. And I do like how the tails of the face hugger boots do go up her ankles there, which is really cool. So yeah, I know this is not for everybody. I used to make fun of my buddy Toy Tony for buying dolls because dolls, And then one day Monster High came out and I was like, oh my God, I need these. And so here we are. Now I'm buying Xenomorph dolls that probably tick somebody's fetish somewhere. But we'll put these back in here. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me. I don't know if the pre-orders are still available for whatever the next run of these are. It'd be kind of nice if Mattel did that with a lot more of their collector dolls. I could think of a few that I'd like to get. I was like very fortunate to be able to get this one because this is one that was an instant sellout. And the Frankenstein set, Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein, I was able to get them. Most of the other collector dolls I haven't been able to get, except the Sanderson sisters, which I believe you can still buy the Sanderson sisters. I guess nobody wants the Hocus Pocus set. Anyway, that's going to be it for me, guys. Y'all have a good one.